The Law That Changed Women's Rights, the Kirralie Smith investigation, Ep.4, when Football New South Wales opened the door. Most legislative consequences arrived quietly. No national announcement, no warning siren, no declaration that a legal theory has just become a practical reality. Instead, one policy decision appears, then another, and then suddenly a question that once existed only when in Parliament arrives on the local sporting field. For many Australians, the moment arrived through women's football. This episode examines how Football New South Wales became one of the most visible examples of the growing conflict between sex-based sporting categories and gender identity policies in post-2013 Australia. For years, the 2013 amendments remained largely invisible to the public. Most Australians never read the legislation. Most never studied the legal definitions. Most assumed women's sport would continue operating as it always had. Then reality arrived. Eligibility decisions began attracting public attention. Questions that administrators had previously handled internally became matters of public debate. Parents asked questions. Female athletes raised concerns. Sporting organisations faced increased pressure to balance competing expectations. And at the centre of the dispute stood a simple but explosive question. What makes a female sporting category female? And for some, the answer remained biological sex. For others, gender identity had become the governing principle. Football New South Wales found itself navigating that collision. And what may have appeared to administrators as a policy decision became something much larger. The decision exposed a national fault line. Women who believed sex-based categories existed to protect female competition increasingly felt their concerns were being dismissed. Meanwhile, advocates of gender identity inclusion viewed opposition as unfair exclusion. And the two positions moved further apart. Public confidence began to fracture, trust weakened, the argument expanded beyond football. Now the issue was no longer about a single competition. It was about the future purpose of female categories themselves. And among those publicly challenging the direction of travel was Kirralie Smith. And what began as concern soon became advocacy. And what began as advocacy would soon become litigation. And the collision between legislation, policy and public dissent was moving into a new phase. Football New South Wales did more than make an eligibility decision. It exposed the unresolved questions sitting beneath the entire post-2013 legislation framework. Who ultimately defines the female category? Who ultimately defines the female category? In the next episode, we'll look at when Kirralie Smith decided silence was no longer an option.